Hi there, welcome back to the breadboard. What I have in front of me is a RazzPad 3. This is a Pi 4 enclosure sporting a 10.1-inch IPS touchscreen LCD monitor and a high-resolution 1280 by 800 10-finger touch display. It also includes a long-life battery. It's supposedly easy to assemble. So we'll be finding that out in a minute. And this is from a company called Sunfounder. They specialize in STEM products to help learning, etc., etc. And they also have Arduino kits and everything else. But today we're just looking at the RazzPad 3. They sent me this for review just recently. And so now I'm going to share this with you all. And we'll go through installing it and seeing how it works, trying it with the battery. So before I dive inside, just wanted to go over what's on the box already. So easy SD card access, 6-axis gyroscope, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, portable with battery, 10.1-inch IPS touchscreen, and system speaker. That's what's written on the side here. Let's just check other areas of the case. I guess example uses, so gaming, music video, programming, office software. Nothing there. Okay, a bunch of specifications. So for the Raspberry Pi 4, RazzPad OS with Easy Block Studio, 1 year limited warranty, battery life 3 to 5 hours, exterior audio with a 3.5mm headphone jack as well, stereo speaker, accelerometer gyroscope built in, display I've already mentioned 1280-800, 16 by 10 aspect ratio, connections, HDMI port, 3 USB ports, SD card slot, Ethernet port, 3.5mm headphone jack, GPIO slot, and a CSI port. So all of this, there are some additional things here like 3 USB ports that are not normally on a Raspberry Pi 4, so there's probably going to be a adapter card inside. There's going to be extension cables to bring out a lot of these connections, because based on the picture, this is not the same layout as we have on the Raspberry Pi itself. If I go grab it again and show you, you can see here that we have 2 USB 2 ports, 2 USB 3 ports, network adapter. That's not the same as this, so it's not going in and butting up against the edge. So the box it comes in is very, very nice and solid. This got shipped to me DHL, and no damage either in the shipping, which is nice. DHL tends to be quite good. Component list of what we should be finding inside here. So the display, a fan, FCC cable, that's for the CSI connector probably. They're providing a screwdriver, screws, heatsink kit, shim, that might be meant to say sim. But, oh no, that's the accelerator. So that's an additional module to connect. USB cable, Ethernet cable, HDMI, power adapter is built in, comes with it. Micro HDMI so that we can adapt it to the bigger external connector, which is nice. Type-C cable and a micro HDMI cable B. So there's 2 micro HDMIs. One will probably go to the display, one will go to outside. Let's get in here, so a bit of phone protection. Okay, so here's the display unit itself. So wrapped in plastic. So let's just lift this out, take the plastic off. Still got the screen protector on. So let's just move the box for a moment. So I have a GPIO connector at the back. We have all of the ports we've already seen. On the front there's nothing. On the other side we have some control, so a little slot for the micro SD card. We have power, volume up. I guess you touch it once and it tells it what you're going to do, and you touch it again and it will start doing it. So this one looks like brightness, and this one looks like volume, and then there's a plus and a minus. Okay, probably a battery indicator gauge there. Holes on the bottom for speakers and the likes. Remove SD card before disassembling. And I think I showed you here, but I'll do it again from a better view. Network, 3 USB 3s, and HDMI, headphone output, and charging / external power port. Display, I'm going to leave the plastic cover on the display just for the moment while we set this up. So there is a 3/4 inch-ish thickness border around here, which is okay. It's a 10.1-inch IPS display. And to get in here we need screwdrivers, so there's a screw in each corner. Let's just move that out of the way for the moment and see what else is in the box. So what we have here, let's just empty it all out, shall we? We've got a power adapter cable. We have a power brick and a bunch of cables and a screwdriver. I think that's everything in the box. Yep, that's everything out of the box. So obviously some assembly is required. It's not just a case of dropping in the Raspberry Pi and away you go. Alright, so what do we have here? I'll do a bit of pointing. We have a fan, 2 HDMI cables. This is a extension, I think, for the SD card to the side of the case. We have a network extender cable, USB 3 extender cable, USB-C extender cable, some heat sinks, some screws, and we have the power adapter. Let's move these aside and start looking. And this tiny little thing here. Right, this will be the accelerometer chip. Back to the RazzPad case. So using provided screwdriver, we will take the back off. That's the 4 screws. So the back should now just. So nothing on the back here. Fan's going to go on here. So here is the inside of the RazzPad 4. Let's zoom in a little bit. Do a little walkabout. So what we have back here, is a pointer. That looks like 2 18650 batteries. So it says lithium ion 18650 11 volt 3200 milliamp hour. So that's good. That's our battery power. We have our button board SD card slot. That's what that little cable is going to jump to. That would be this one. And cable running across here. As you can see, quite a lot on here. So what we're going to have here is HDMI out. Obviously, there's going to be cables running underneath here that are connected to the display. We're going to have a USB hub, which is here for the 3 USB. So we've got one USB 3 going in, splitting out to these 3 USB. We have a network connection here, which is going to just probably jump right through to here. We've got some power management for charging and discharging. Audio jack, charging input. Oh, that's probably going to the cable. I don't know what that switch. Oh, that's for the fan. So it is. USB-C, 2 HDMIs. Obviously, as I said, one's going to drop down to the display. Here's our stereo speakers down here. 1, 2. Oh, put it up a little bit. 1, 2. And that's pretty much everything. So the display is obviously on the other side of this. Nicely protected. I'm not going to try and pull that out. So let's get our Raspberry Pi 4. I don't see any SD card provided with this. Raspberry Pi is obviously going to go here. Okay. We have a little. Oh, that's where the other screw goes through. That's going to be connecting to the SD card, so we need to plug that in before, because it's underneath. So we'll plug that in here. That way it will loop around and connect to this connector like that. Let's just zoom out a little bit for a second. Okay. Alright, so we've got a few screws out of the bag. These are M2 by 5, 6 pieces. According to our instructions, I'm just trying to see if it talks about before inserting the micro SD card, connect the button board to the Raspberry Pi using the included, that's this cable here. Connect all cables, then attach the Raspberry Pi with 4 M2.5 by 4 screws. Yeah, there's a few extra screws for something here. You don't need to lam these up ridiculously tight. Yes, there are brass inserts, which is nice, by the way, versus using self-tappers into the plastic. So having brass inserts makes it much more reliable. Let's bring this over and drop it in here. When you're putting these cables in here, you need to, I'm going to bring this around and show on camera. There's a little bit you have to lift up on the top of it. It doesn't move up much, but it does lift up on the connector. Okay, I'll try and show you on the overhead camera. There we go. So here you have to lift it up. Okay, and the cable goes on this side between the white and the black. It goes in here. So just going to lay this down, try and do it without blocking everything. So it's just going to fold over and it's going to loop in there. We'll lift up on either side, gently push it down so the little black bit is lifted. You don't have to pull it terribly hard. Make sure the ribbon cable is pushed in there gently. You'll feel it drop in, and then just put the black piece down again. It'll go back down with a little bit more resistance. But that's it. And that's that plugged in. So zoom back out a little bit. Now what we have are these additional cables that need to be put in. So this is USB-C, so that's obvious. There's only one place that can go. So we'll put it in the USB-C port and across to this USB-C port. You probably want to avoid here because the bottom of the case has a pin that's going to go down on that hole. So you don't want to be trapping the cable. You've got the two HDMI leads. Take the little plastic covers off. So obviously one is going to be inside the other. They're different lengths. Okay, like that. And these are going to just neatly go over and plug in there. Network cable is really short, so you just plug it in here. It's just an extension. Okay, and then just plug it into here. There's that. Then we have the USB-C extension. Same thing applies. I don't think it matters which one you plug it into, but drop it into there. Gently peel it back a little bit. Drop it into there. And it's not going to come loose. We have to put this somewhere, but haven't figured that out yet. We have the heat sinks. Let's see if it shows us which ones. Obviously the big one's going to go on the processor. Alright, so it shows a picture right here for the heat sinks. So we've got the CPU, the chip to its left, which is the RAM, and then we have the chip. Oh, and it shows the placing for that little board as well. It shows the chip to the left, but this is obviously a different Raspberry Pi here because we've got two chips here and there's only one showing here. These are just stick on, so I'll just peel the sticker, the backing off. Okay, pop that one on the CPU. We have a long thin one, that's for the RAM. And a Pi 4 does get hot. Now is this one going on the VIO IO controller? It looks like it's the right size for that anyway. Right, so let's put this accelerometer shim module in place. So what it shows it going in is on the very end of the GPIO connector, facing in. So these must be a tight enough fit. Make contact. So just like that. Only we'll push it down like it shows. And we just got to put the fan in. So fan in, logo facing the exterior. And that's very common on fans, by the way. So there's the logo, so that goes outside. That's the direction of wind, air blowing that way. So here's the back of the case. The fan goes right here with a vent through it. And like it said, that needs to go that way. And did it show any particular orientation for the wire coming out? The wire coming out to the left. Not that it probably matters much, but that's what it shows right there. And we'll use these longer screws that weren't labeled, but that's all there is. They're long self-tappers this time. Same screwdriver. They're all the same length, so it shouldn't matter. Again, don't tighten them don't over tighten them. In this case, they are screwing into plastic, so you don't want to over tighten. It's just a little fan, so we just need it to be secure, it's not going to be subject to horrible stresses or anything. Okay, there's that. So now all that's left to do, just zoom this right back out to normal view, is to put the lid onto the back and screw the lid on. So do we have anything else not connected? So the fan, this fan connection here, is going to go into here. Like that. And then this will connect down like that. And you would just put the screws in and you'd be done. See if this will power up then. We may have to charge it for a while, in which case I'll stop the video and we'll do a charge and we'll see. But let's try. Zip the nada. Okay, so a quick look, see if there's something I might have missed. Okay, looks like it might just be simply the batteries are not charged enough. It's been shipped from manufacturers and sitting in packaging, etc., etc. So we need to charge it up. Let's just connect some power to it. Okay, I'm going to leave the cover off just in case there's any lights and things that will indicate something's going on when I plug this in. Okay, got a little blinky light there telling us it's charging. So that's good. So we just need to wait a little while. I don't know if we'll give it a few minutes and then we'll try and power it up. Should be enough with the external power brick as well to be able to do that. Be right back. One thing I did notice while I was messing around here is that this is the CSI connector for plugging in something like a Pi camera. And on the bottom of the case, just here near the fan, is a slot cut in it, and when I looked at the bottom it said CSI. So if you wanted to use a Pi camera, you would have to connect that through there and have this hanging out like this. So you'd probably want a much longer flexible cable to do that, otherwise the camera is just going to be sitting on the side. They're just giving you access to those additional peripherals if you wanted to use them, but just be aware you'd probably want a longer cable for that. Okay. Quite a note while we're waiting for this to boot up again. Based on how much space is inside here, a small hard drive, like a little 2.5-inch one, this is a physical hard drive, not a solid state one, probably will fit inside. Now if you get a solid state one, it's going to be much lighter and consume less power. So one of the things that I've heard people do for Raspberry Pis and things, obviously the newest version of the OS and the Raspberry Pi 4, you can boot from hard disks and solid state disks and stuff like that, and that would give you much more longevity, and potentially if you put a big one in, like a 0.5 terabyte or something, much more storage capability for this. The SSDs are not designed for extensive reading and writing, or especially writing. They do wear out, and they will wear out quicker than a drive that is specifically designed for being a hard drive. Now I'd imagine you could even put a very large USB key in there if you wanted to as well. You probably won't buy any more extra than you would from an SD card from a longevity perspective, but you could certainly get a big one in the USB port as a second drive perhaps, all contained internally. Just options I'm throwing out there. I haven't tried it yet. I'm not going to try it in this video. So we're all back again. So this should have a rotate functionality now. I'm going to switch to a different camera because I want to be able to test this. So we're here. And if I rotate it, didn't do anything. Oh, there we go. That rotated nicely. Get it back to there. Up right here. Put it upside down. Beautiful. Now that means, technically, I could just sit it on the bench like that, which is kind of cool if you're watching a movie or something like that. Okay, so the only thing left to try now is the audio, I think. And we'll just go to a YouTube channel. I'm finding this a little easier to drive by using the mouse. I'm not used to using a touchpad for everything. So I'm just going to go in here and vertically. Oh, I haven't started the keyboard up. So you can set that to be automatic, I am sure. Okay. www.youtube.com. That should bring up my YouTube channel. That way no conflicts on copyright. And there we go. So let's just pick something with a bit of audio. Bring up that one with the Raspberry Pi 400. Just because. Make it full screen. And for some reason we have no audio, so let me just check that. I probably don't have it set to digital. So if I just shrink that, go up to the speaker, right click for properties. Yeah, it's set for the AV jack, not for the HDMI, so let's just... Yep, there we go. Using a Raspberry Pi, and it'll give us the benefit of having a relatively low-cost computer for doing some development and things like that. So we're going to see how well it works on here. So it's running at 720, but then again, it isn't a 1080p screen. The audio is coming out of the Raspberry Pi 4 via HDMI. It's going to the display, and then it's coming out of the display controller. The audio is being separated on the HDMI. All right, let's pick a different video for a sec. Let's get rid of the stats for nerds. Guess that's the keyboard click. Hopefully you can change the volume on that. So you can hear there. Okay, so you can hear it's a little bit tinny. They're just little speakers and they don't give a lot of bass. Obviously they do give you audio, and playing games and things, they're probably going to be adequate. If you really want to have some quality audio though, plug some headphones into the jack on the side, or plug a cable from there to an external amplifier. Would give you far better audio quality. But it's functional and it works okay. So I think we've gone through everything in here. So what do I think? Well, haven't tried it on battery yet. I've had it charging up now for a while. So it is showing the battery is full. If I just change screens, turn on the autofocus, so you can see we're fully charged. All three lights are on, and we've got the red light on to say that we're operating. And if I unplug the power and the mouse just for the moment, so I'm completely on batteries, which is awesome, and it will last quite a few hours for you running your applications. One of the workflows that they claim for this is programming, and if you were going to program in something like Node-RED, then that really doesn't support a touchscreen interface. But if you're going to use Scratch or something like that, and I've reloaded this with the full-blown version of the desktop, that way it comes with all of the programming and things as well. So if I bring up Scratch, all right, let's make that full screen. You can see here that we can easily drag program elements in and make up some kind of program. Right. All right, so you can drag and drop programming and things like that. So you got your programming happening. All right, so we're doing quite well with the programming with drag and drop with something like Scratch, and you can do your little applications. Again, this is not a, at this point, it's all about the Raspberry Pi. The touchscreen seems to be pretty good. I haven't got anything to try it with multi-touch or anything specifically, but It seems quite responsive, seems quite accurate. So I'm quite happy with that. So the price of this is about $200 right now. And I think that's not too bad a value for money. I haven't got too much experience having to buy this kind of case. But from something that you want to take a Raspberry Pi, make it into something portable, so you're getting your batteries, you're getting your charging circuitry, you're getting a power adapter, you're getting a reasonably good resolution display, and it's not 1080p, but it's not far short of that. It's better than 720. A lot of the other Raspberry Pi displays are only 800 by 480 and things like that. It's all in the case, it's nicely presented, and it looks like, based on the website, when we were running through the install of the Rotati application and things like that, it's well documented up to now. I would say it looks pretty good. And I think one of the thoughts I got is to actually have it mounted up on a wall, maybe as an HMI home automation server control panel interface, because it's got everything you need on here to be able to do that. If I bring up actually my own house automation system, so I just brought up Home Assistant on my RazzPad 3 here just to show you, and you can easily control lights with touchscreen. It's designed for that. I've had Raspberry Pis running Home Assistant quite a lot over the last few years, and it works just fine. Like right now I'm in the lab, so if I come down here, I can turn on the main lab light, blurs out the screen a little bit, but right from here. So you can, this is not a Home Assistant video, but you can customize this screen with bigger displays, more focused on a single room, or focused on a specific type of device like lights or multimedia or something like that. And it's very easy to use. And with a touch screen and a display like this, it makes it very nice. For instance, I bring up a dimmer, adjust the brightness of the light. Now this one's not in this room, so you can't see it. Or you can just simply turn it on and off. Okay, and that's all touch based. So having a Raspberry Pi 4, I mean, you don't need a Raspberry Pi 4, it could be a Raspberry Pi 3. And RazzPad do have other Raspberry Pi cases that you can use for this. Going to go back into their website. It's the RazzPad 3. This is for the Raspberry Pi 4. Obviously get it in different power supply configurations. So in summary, just going back to the website, RazzPad 3 has been on crowdfunding on Kickstarter, I think, and they've raised nearly $1 million for this, 5,200 backers, so that's pretty good. This one here, I'm assuming, is a production-ready version that I've been showing you, and it works very well. Build quality is good. You know, as I said, brass inserts for the main case and things like that. And specifications are all good. Quality seems to be good. So where do you get your own RazzPad 3? Well, you can get it from Amazon, but be careful where you buy from. Right now I'm looking at this screen here with Amazon.ca advertisement, and it's trying to sell it for $532.61. Which is very expensive. But if you look here, go straight to here, and this is being sold by a different company through Amazon as well, and it's only $295. Now you can also buy this from Sunfounder directly, and if I go to RazzPad, you can see it's $219. Now that's probably US now, not Canadian, so that'll be about the same. Or you can go to RazzPad.com, and I think you can buy it from there too. Yeah, $219 as well, of course. Pick which kind of plug you want with it, add it to cart, and buy it straight from there. So if you prefer Amazon, just make sure you do get the right price. It looks like some people are trying to gouge a little bit. All the documentation and everything else you can find on the RazzPad site, www.razzpad.com, and it's going to have some descriptions and questions and stuff like that. And there's a forum link here, as well as a blog and tutorials, etc. Now, obviously, aside from the initial installs, which we went through earlier in the video, the remaining tutorials are about how to program and things like that, which is more about the Raspberry Pi 4 than the RazzPad case display combo. Or you can go to Sunfounders directly, and they not only have the RazzPad here, but they have a whole bunch of other accessories for the Raspberry Pi, including robotics, standalone screens, cameras, etc., etc. But they also cover Arduinos with a similar set of modules. Okay, and they have online tutorials here too. Now, obviously, they're both Sunfounder. This just the RazzPad.com is specifically for the RazzPad. I think that's pretty much everything. So, am I impressed with this? Yes. It looks like a pretty good device, and the price is pretty good. If you look at 1280 by 800 displays, even just standalone, they're still about $150. You're paying $220-ish, and as such, you're getting your battery backup, you're getting touchscreen, you're getting charger with it, and a good support system for the Raspberry Pi 4. So it's not much of a above the price of just a standalone display to get something that's portable and works very, very well for you. So anyway, I think that's everything. If you like it, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. I know it's quite detailed and long. If you like the product, then I'll provide links in the description so you can go get your own. You can either get them directly from Sunfounder or from Amazon. I'll provide affiliate Amazon links. That won't cost you any more, but if you like the product and you want to support the channel, then buying through those links, even if you actually go to Amazon through one of those links and buy something else, it still helps the channel out as well. So, yeah, that's it. I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.